Hmm. All right, just working out some kinks here with the stream. I believe I've got them all straightened out, just waiting for them to appear on my preview. All right, I think we are good. We're going to be recording a full video, just doing it live here for a little fun. And today we're going to be unbricking this Cinnado D1. So we'll do a couple introductory bits. Today we're going to be unbricking a Cinnado D1. Then we would do our image. Wow, it looks like the stream is failing. Trying to watch the preview on my other device. Hopefully the recording is working. We'll go ahead and continue. Hey guys, it's Josh with the WL Tech Blog. In today's video, we've got a Cinnado D1 that we're going to brick, then we're going to unbrick it, and you can do the unbrick part at home. Let's go ahead and switch over to our terminal view. And boot our camera back up. So before we can fix it, we need to break it. Now this camera is working just fine, but it's really easy to brick it if we want to. Pop my SD card out. And through SSH, if you want to brick a cam easily, you just log in, flash erase all dev mtd2, and that is going to erase the kernel. We now have a brick camera that won't boot on its own. So if we pull the power and plug it back in, it will not recover. And so I've done that and it is gone. Actually, I think MTD2 might have been the wrong device to wipe. We're going to wipe it better than that. Oh, that just factory reset it was all. We want to actually remove the kernel. Actually, we'll look here. 0, 1, 2. Yeah, we need MTD3. Now we've got a brick device. All right, and yeah, it looks like the live stream is a bit choppy, but hopefully my recording locally is going to be good, and we'll be able to put this up after some quick editing. All right, so this should be brick now. Go ahead and exit out, start a ping back up, give it a power cycle, and it should remain dead. And yep, it's looking dead. All right, so what we're gonna do, and I just updated the image here. This will work on either of the Cinnado D1 models. We're gonna come over here to the Thingino installers repo once it decides to cooperate. There we go. So in the Cinnado D1 repo, there are two images here. There's a T23 and a T31. Now you should have already gone through this process when installing Thingino, but we'll go ahead and do it real quick on cam so you can be sure. So here we've got our D1. Let's see about focus here. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so in order to determine which one you have, you just have to pop the top off of here and look inside. So this one doesn't require any tools for this step. All you do is you just stick your finger in right here at this edge, give it a little pull, and then the whole top pretty much will pop right off. Now we're going to look inside the camera. This might be a little tough. Let me try and add some light. Get my phone flashlight to cooperate here. Now what we're looking for is the processor, which is what's this? And I'm trying to see if I can focus on it from here. Now you don't have to take this apart to see it in real life. It's just camera optics are maybe a bit difficult. So the two chips that we care about, first off, is the processor, which is here, and the flash chip, which is right next to it. And just to make this a little bit easier for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and pop this out, but you won't have to do this yourself. You should be able to see it just fine. A little bit. All right, and now we've got the whole board out. So with a little extra light here, should be able to focus in enough to see it. All right, you can see, if you look closely, this chip says Engenic, and it says T31. Now the T23, the board layout's exactly the same, and the only real difference that you care about is that you get the right firmware image for this. So we're going to go ahead and download that. Let's go back to our browser. So we go to the T31 In our case, you may have the T23. And once you get up there, on the far right, there is a link to download the raw file. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and browser will download it and save. All right, we should be back up and running here. Sorry about that. So coming back in, and we're downloading the installer image, which only took a moment. Now we're going to pop our SD card in, and that's recognized. We're going to come over to Raspberry Pi Imager. You can also use Rufus. I like Raspberry Pi Imager. And for the operating system, we're going to come down to Use Custom, and you're going to pick your Cinnado D1 image. Going to choose storage, pick your SD card. We're going to hit next. Make sure I got the right thing. Okay, and we do not want to apply OS customizations, and we do want to continue. So this is a 128 megabyte image. Will only take a moment to write. All right, and we are good to remove the SD card. And interestingly, it said it didn't recognize it. All right, now it seems fine. All right, now I'm going to pull a couple more wires on my cam just so you'll be able to see it better for the next steps. This is just for the camera. You won't need to do this on yours. So go back to our overhead, and let me see how close in we can get on this guy. Try and make this as visible as possible for you guys so that you'll be confident in doing this at home. All right, how's that look? Not too bad. All right, again, the two chips that are interesting on here, we've got our processor, and then we've got our flash chip next to it. Now, if you look at the flash chip, you'll see there's a dot right here. That dot denotes the location of pin 1 on the camera. So what you do is you look at dot for pin 1, and you count counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now what we need to do is we're actually going to be bridging the pins between pin 5 and pin 6. So that's catty corner from the dot. Now before you do that, I recommend that you plug your power cord into the camera and have it unplugged on the other end. It's going to be a lot easier when you only have two hands to plug this guy into the source than to plug this one into the camera. So go ahead and pop in your SD card, which only goes in one way. Now you didn't take yours out, so to access the SD, you just rotate the head of the thing up and pop it in. And then we come right back here. Now the trick here is, and I have to do this a little bit blind, but I've done this many times. We're going to bridge these two pins. I'm going to use my Phillips screwdriver. You can use anything conductive. And we've got the SD card inserted. Got this side of the power plugged in. So we've got these pins bridged. and we're going to plug in the power wire. We're going to wait about 1.5 seconds, and we're going to remove our short. So what we're doing is we're preventing the startup sequence from seeing this flash chip. When it's not able to see that, it'll go to its backup methods, which are looking for a cloner software running and connected to the USB port, which this cam doesn't even have. And then it'll go to the SD card and look in a special spot. So here we go. I'm going to plug in the power cord on 3. I'll plug it in. 1, 2, 3. And then 1 second later, we remove the screwdriver. Now that's all you have to do, but we're going to wait and make sure everything comes up. And of course, I've unplugged one of my motors, so we're only going to hear this one when it goes. But it's a fairly quick process. It's not a large flash chip on here. And it takes about a minute or so. If you got it, it'll do everything automatically. If your timing was wrong, then just rewind the video and do it a second time. It can be a bit tricky if it's your first time doing it. I usually get it on my first try. But if you heard that, that was the IR cut. And you see this motor has moved. So it's doing the sweep. Now let me reassemble this. We're going to be right back to provisioning. So I had unplugged the speaker. It's easier to do if you've got the board out. Speaker, here's the other motor. And we just got to pop it back together. I don't remember if I had it high or low. So we'll let it rehome itself real quick so that we're sure we get it together right. Now, if you're watching the live stream at home, you should already be at the provisioning page on your phone. Maybe not fight the camera motor. Check chat real quick before we continue. All right, nothing. All right, we've got one screw to reassemble. Again, you wouldn't have needed to do this. This was just for camera benefit. All right, I should cover reassembling the lid on here. It really just pushes on and make sure you've got the line straight. and then just a little pressure, it'll pop right on. Go ahead and boot this guy up. It should be all ready to go. All right, and it's ready to provision. Jump over to our regular camera. Here we go. So we go into our Wi-Fi list and we look for a network that starts with thing. Which is right up here. Go ahead and connect to that. Depending on what kind of device you're on, it'll prompt you to log in, and it may or may not take you to the provisioning page. On my phone, with the current version of the phone operating system, it'll actually fail to load the provisioning page. So in that case, what you do is you open your web browser and you go to 172.16.0.1. That will take you to the Cinnado provisioning page. I'm going to go ahead and put in our root password and our Wi-Fi credentials. Again, make sure on this camera you're giving it credentials for a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. And remember, the SSID and password are both case sensitive. It'll take you to a verification page where you can make sure you've got everything right. And then it'll show you your end result page here. It's going to write a few settings to the camera. Then the camera will reboot. So give it just a second to do that. And in the meantime, we'll adjust our overhead. All right, now the camera went through its sweep. I'm gonna go ahead and tap the button and it'll read off its IP address. Well, it failed to read off its IP address. Oh, because my Wi-Fi networks.
192.168.82.113.
We're going to do that again because my Wi-Fi is being crap. And it took a minute.
IP address is 192.168.82.113.
All right, and our D1 is back online on our Wi-Fi, and we are good to go. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this video. If you've got any questions or comments, make sure to put them down below. I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and do consider subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to get a better cam, check out the links down in the video description. I've got my favorites down there. If you're interested in the Cinnado project and want to hang out with the team, we're over on the Hackers Homestead Discord. The link for that is down in the description as well. Hope to see you in the next video. Until then, stay fresh, cheese bags. All right, that's going to wrap up the stream. I hope you got your cam working on that, and we'll see you over on Discord.